action set pieces in RRR, especially the interval one, is probably the best that I have seen in Indian cinema. And if we look at all the action scenes of the film, there is a story running in it. So, how is it for you to design these thrilling action sequences that are so original with a story running in the backdrop? And could you tell us about your vision for the interval sequence in specific?
Um, I have told this many times. It is, of course, visual grandeur is what attracts the audiences and which makes them keep the visuals are what is attached to their mind. But to keep them in their heart, it needs an emotion running underneath it. For not just the interval sequence, for any action sequence, it is very, very important. And in this case, we have seen Tarak or Beam undergo pain and humiliation for a long, long time. That's a classic screenwriter's job. You show an actor how strong he is, and then you go him through the emotions of humiliation, pain, yearning to do what he has set out to do for, and you stretch it long enough for you stretch it for like almost 1.5 hours, and then you show the unleash his power. That needs to be like super exciting. Yeah, so that is what is going behind my mind when I was writing. So when Bheem or Tarak unleashes his power, no, the visual has to be something that the audience should remain in their hearts for a very, very long time. So that's how we came up with that sequence.
And was it conscious decision to make him, jump with the animals, because he is called Young Tiger in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and that is something that reflects in the scenes, be it his intro scene or the interval scene?
No, I mean, people call him lovingly Young Tiger, but his image, his image is not what I had in mind. The character of Beam, like I told you, he's so powerful physically, but emotionally he's like a child. So that was what I was banking upon rather than the image. Yeah.
To your right, hi. Rajamouli sir, all the accolades, all the appreciation, everything that a movie is getting, it deserves that and so much more. So congratulations to the entire team for that. But my question is also, Bahubali 2 makes 1,800 crores globally. Now RRR makes 1,000 crores globally. So when you achieve these summits and when you are making a movie, it almost feels like you are scaling a new summit every time. So when you're going to make the next movie, even though as an artist you're concentrating creatively, is this also a mountain of expectations in the third movie that it cannot come below these benchmarks that you have set for yourself?
Let me try to put it this way. I always said that what we can do is give our 100% to the project and make it in the best possible way that it can be made. The numbers are not in our hands. That is the love and appreciation from the audience. That can be affected by many factors, by the holidays, by the release, by the distribution, how strong the distributor is, how strong the exhibitor is. So many other factors contribute to the numbers. The only thing that we can gauge is the love and appreciation of the audiences. So I won't take too much into the numbers. Of course, the numbers are very important because that directly relates to how many people has seen the film. So that is important. I'm not saying that's not important, but more is the appreciation from the different sets of audiences. If we talk about Bahubali 2 and RRR, no, of course, there is a lot of appreciation from all audiences, but what is significantly different that I noticed this time is the number of Western audiences that are liking the film RRR. I mean, even for the journalists to write about Bahubali 2, it took some time to look at the numbers and do that. But for RRR, the moment it released, within 4 or 5 days, articles in Deadline, Variety, New York Times coming up, and the number of tweets that are coming from the, the Western audiences, particularly in US, that I never expected. For Bahubali 2, I didn't expect it from Japan. For RRR, I didn't expect from the Westerners in US. This is the kind of thing that I take into heart. So this is the kind of thing that say, okay, this many number of people are liking our film. So next time when I make a film, I have to keep that in mind. I shouldn't let it bother me. I shouldn't let it weigh me down. But I should think of it, that there are wider audiences that are listening to your story. So I should keep that in mind. Not the numbers, but the love of appreciation from different audiences. Yes.
Well said, sir.
Thank you.
Tarak and our
Rajamouli Garu, welcome. Rajamouli Garu, NTR and Ramcharan, Lipika Verma here. Welcome to Mumbai with a stupendous success. Rajamouli Garu, I want to ask you, you are an exuberant storyteller, but would you mind if we tag you with a exuberant fantasy storyteller also? Because it's a very difficult job, What would you like to elaborate?
As long as you like my film, ma'am, you can put any tag on me. I don't mind it.
And comparison is inevitable. The film has been compared to Bahubali, and both the films are, of course, A-grade films. Which film is closer to your heart?
I mean, it will be very difficult to judge, ma'am, because at this point of time, I am so attached to RRR. So my question, whatever you ask, not just between Bahubali 2 and RRR, if you ask me what is my best film of all my filmography, or if you ask me what is my favorite film in all the films I have seen from my childhood, I'll say RRR. Because I'm so emotionally attached it to now. Maybe 6 months from now, 8 months from now, once the euphoria completely dies down, then I'll be able to give a better right answer. But for now, it is all RRR for me.
NTR, we hear that your next action film is Kortala Siva. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I think...
So it's too early.
Yeah, it's too early. So right now it's about RRR. So I would like to stick to talk about RRR. And yes, as you mentioned, that's going to be my next film. But in the coming days, I'm going to give you all the details about that
Ramcharan
project.
walks away with all the accolades. What do you have to say?
No, ma'am, I don't believe that at all. Not even for a second. I think we both have excelled beautifully, and Tarak was fantastic. I don't think I've enjoyed working in a film, in any other film but RRR. And what I'll take back from RRR is my journey with Beam, my journey with Tarak, which I'll never ever forget. Thank you, Rajamouli Garu, for giving me that opportunity. I love him to bits, and it'll always remain the same.
People, we are running out of time, I know, and before we wrap up, I'd like to thank the wonderful people from the media fraternity here in Mumbai. उसके अलावा the southern states, वहाँ से जितने सारे मीडिया के कर्मियों ने हमको cover किया, इस फिल्म को इतना सारा प्यार दिया. We also have some wonderful people from Delhi, Kolkata, Indore, Ahmedabad, Jaipur, Bengaluru, जो सब यहाँ पे आए हुए हैं. I hope you guys had a great time with this amazing cast and crew of the movie RRR, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, 1,000 crores is just a beginning. It's time for a quick photo op, and then इस शाम को आगे बढ़ाते हैं.
Rajamouli sir, here, right here, again, same space. I want to ask you something. So I was back in Calcutta when the movie released. My 5-year-old nephew actually walked up to me. He doesn't know much to say, but he said, I want to watch this film, matlab in Bengali. And he's like, tum mil ke aaye ho unse? And he's constantly watching all your video interviews and stuff. From a 5-year-old, and I watch it with my parents who are 60 plus, how do you tap into the emotions, and how do you make sure that whatever you make caters to all ages? Like, we've loved it, our parents have loved it, and nephews and nieces have loved it. How do you do that with each film of yours?
Well, I don't write for all age groups. I write only for children, and I believe that every person has a child in them. Let it be your 65-year-old aunt or grandmother or your 5-year-old nephew. Everyone has a child in them, and I write for them.
And I have a question to both of you, because